I want to show you how I designed this. It's a simple indoor sports poster. So I'm just going to go to my layers side, and then I'll show you bit by bit how I did everything. We'll start by hiding all layers first. Let's hide all layers first so that I can show you how I came up with each. Alright, so the background is the same. You just either you can do a rectangle background and then you do a gradient, whichever that is preferable for you, whichever color you just have to choose, choose the colors the same way. And then once you're done with choosing the colors and then doing everything that you want, you click OK, and then the background is there. If you want to rename it, you just do it. And then we go now to the information so that you can also guide in terms of where to place everything. So the next thing I have to do is now come up with the first information that I need. So if you want to know how to do this, you just have to type a name, and then you go to effects. Effects is just right here. If you can't find this, you just have to go to Windows, and then you choose layers. Layers is here. If it is not ticked, then it won't appear on this side, so you have to tick it there, and then it will appear here. So if you want to add stroke effect on your word, you just have to click on it and then go to effects down here and then choose stroke. So for me here, I chose 4. Then opacity, you're just gonna leave it at 100. Then that's it. After that, you click OK. The same thing with connect. You just have to leave the fill to 100, and then you add stroke the way I've shown you. You just have to go to the effects and then add stroke. But now the fill you have to leave it the way it is here. So if you reduce it, you notice that it's reducing the fill inside, the white fill inside. So you're just going to leave it full at 100. And then the same thing with the word games. You just have to do the same. You reduce the fill to 0, and then you add the stroke to whichever preferable size that you want. And then the next thing we're going to do is now start placing the other things. So I had to add a track. I just downloaded an image. I cut out what else that was on that image that I didn't want, and then I changed the effect here to vivid light, and then I did a gradient. So what you do, just let me just delete that and I'll show you what I did. What I did is you just need to create a mask layer. You mask it, or rather you put the gradient to whichever position that you feel is okay, like that. For me, that's okay. So the next thing we're going to do is now put in the basketball guy. So I had to remove the background. It's really a long process, and you either have to use this background remover or select the object, or if you're not sure about that, you can just use the pen tool, and then you go one by one, step by step, until you cover every part that you need removed. And then once you do that, you mask it off. All right, so to get this effect, what I did is I just copied this. All right, I just copied that, and then I went to filter. I selected what I've copied, and then I went to filter, blur, and then motion blur, and then I selected to them whichever amount. So that's what I did there, and then everything else is okay. And then I just had to copy another one so that to make that effect look like it's a progression. I did the same thing, but then again I changed the effect here to screen, and then I reduced the opacity to 45 so that it can actually match what I want. And then I had to do a reflection of the basketball player, which is actually quite simple. And then I did some shadows on the leg here, shadows on both. that's it from there. And then I had to do now the main information, like this one here. So how you do this is you just have to type your words here, with the preferable font, and then once that is done, let's just switch off this guy for a minute. And what else? Let's switch this on for a minute as well. So what you do here, you're just going to copy the same, all right? You just convert it to a smart object, and then you come right here. There are actually very many ways of doing that, and then you just flip vertically, and then you bring it down. Once that is done, you just have to select it or click on it, and then you say perspective, and then come to the edge. And then if you're using Mac, you're going to press Option and Shift, and then you're going to move it to whichever position that is actually fit for what you're looking for, so that it looks like a floor till there. I think that is pretty good for me. If you're using Windows, you're going to press Alternative Shift, and then you just do the same. So that's how I managed to get that. Okay, but now to make it even look better, so that we can see there's a there's a difference between the upper side and down side, you just have to add shadow here, so that it shows this is the upper side and then this is like a floor. So here what I did, I just used a rectangle tool, this one, and then once that is done, you select it, and then you go to filter, and then blur, Gaussian blur, and then you choose whichever size or the radius that you want to use in it, and then that's it. And once that is done, you bring back your basketball guy, and then the rest is just the information. But first, let me do the light effects. I preferred them where actually I need the focus to be. So one is on the hand, the one is at the back, and then the other one is where the words are. And to get these lights, you just have to download any light effect, and then you bring it here, and then you just have to play with this effect here. If not, you can just do your own, just like this. You go select whichever color, then you go to choose the brush tool, make sure the brush, the harshness is up to 0, and then the size is whichever preferable side that you want. Okay, and then where you want to just create a new layer, and then click on wherever you want to click, and then you come here to the effect and try to play around with the effect till you get the preferable effect for that matter, right? And then once that is done, you can either blow it up or zoom it up here, and then choose the effect that actually works best for you. For me, this one would work best, but you can choose to put it on the back side or the front side. But for me, since I'd already created, so I don't need this, but actually I can see it brings nice effect here. So probably you can even try to play around with it and reduce the opacity to whichever liking that you have, that you want, and then that's it. But since I'd already created mine, I don't need this, so I'm just going to delete it and retain back my lights. And then more other information that you need, you just need to type them, and then that's it for maybe just to add few other things like so. And then to add this texture that you see, it's as if it's like a paper that has been folded, or rather a cloth that has been folded or has creases. So what you do is just going to go online and then look for a folded paper or a creased paper or cloth. You download it, and then you come and bring it to the front side, and then you play around with this to whichever effect of your liking. But for me here, multiply works well because actually it only gives the effect to only the places that is needed, right? So multiply works for me. And then that's it. I mean, that's it. That's how you make that.